I mean, you don't have to put them on because we're not gonna have no call-in.
Unless people want to. I didn't
No,
necessarily.
we have
Yeah. Okay.
So we good.
So we don't need that, huh?
I'm always used to putting them on.
Right.
I don't want to miss anything.
Upgrade, honey. You ain't gotta damage nothing.
Did you put your mouth into it?
Yeah, you wanna. Well, but not me because I'm loud. I push it back.
Oh, shoot, I see. Okay, I see what you did there.
Hey y'all! I see y'all coming on. Come on in. I see that thing went from 0 to 3 like real quick. How y'all doing? Good afternoon. Listen, post, tag, share. Join in the conversation. We have some dynamic folks here. If you're a clerk, if you're a secretary, if you're a financial administrator, if you're somebody that helps somebody, tune in today and get your props. Today is all about administrative professionals. It's all about the help that makes the impact happen. And we want you all to get your props today. Greg James is on the ones and twos.
Hey, listen, family, go ahead on tag, share. Let's get everybody in today. This is an amazing show. Great information. And believe it or not, we've got the CEO of an amazing credit union here. And you're going to be able to find ways to access them to serve you. Want to say good afternoon and once again welcome to what I want to say one of the amazing shows that's right here on Hallelujah 95.3, and it's very seldom that I've got the conscious chick with me, but because it's Working Class Wednesday,
When it's Working Class
Wednesday, you got to bring in all the help you can get just to be able to keep the work going. Hey, want to say good afternoon. Good afternoon, Al Williams. How are you, man? Don't forget, Al, tonight is Working Class Wednesday.
Yes.
It's over at the Edison. You want to make plans to be there. Al's with One Church, One Child. He called me, and I told him, come on over.
Yes.
Hey, listen, conscious chick.
Yes, sir.
Conscious chick, conscious chick.
Yeah.
What's so amazing about this show?
I think today's show is neat on so many different levels, right? So first of all, we're in a room full of people we know.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay, we're in a room full of, these are not people we don't know. And we know them on different levels. This your banker, this your long-term banker funder, this a community advocate, everything promoter,
Everything.
everything. Okay, so you're in the room with people that you know. And that gives you a level of comfort in conversation because you don't know where you're going to go in conversation, but you know them, right? But I think it's important, Pastor James, today that we have this conversation because our community is made up significantly by women. And women significantly make up the workforce that we are celebrating today, which are administrative professionals. Shout out to the men that also serve in these support capacities and capabilities. But we definitely want to make sure that we keep focused today's show on not just the fact that there's going to be an excellent event this evening. There's an excellent credit union. Excuse me. Let's make sure that's understood. We're going to get into the questions later. That is supporting these families in their financial capability. They're a lender and a partner and a person they go to get car loans, but they're also a person that they can look to for financial information, financial help, community development initiatives. So it's all the things today. So it's really important, and I think it's going to be really good for listeners to tune in and share.
Absolutely. I want to say good afternoon to some of the listeners that tuned in. I want to say good afternoon to Ken Preston. He's tuned in. I want to say good afternoon to Marcus Manning. I want to say good afternoon to Latasha Hall and so many more. Good afternoon, Yvonne Stewart. All of you who are tuned in, go ahead on tag share. We're on all of our virtual platforms. And certainly today is going to be an amazing day. And as we celebrate professional administrators that are doing the work, and I want to say to all of the pastors who really are the administrators of the work, and the people who really pastor the church are those who are in the administrative roles. So our roles are reversed. So we want to give a shout out to all the pastors who are really the administrators who do the work. Isn't that amazing? How
You just kind of all those things that be not as though they were.
But listen, listen. We are in for an amazing time today, and certainly today is a day that Working Class Wednesday really is a history-making event already. But I think today is a day that it sets the mold and the standard for something that the future will look forward to, especially with the guests that are in the studio today. And as you said, they are friends.
Yes.
Not only are they friends, but they are individuals who value the community.
Yes.
And one thing that I like about the three guests that we're going to introduce you to, they don't work to be seen. They are mostly seen doing the work.
Right.
Can you imagine the CEO flipping pancakes?
Depending on the CEO, right? But guess what? Okay, so
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and she has been in the community. And I'm gonna let you I'm just tag this, and then we're gonna introduce her, and then we're gonna introduce the rest of them. But she's been in the community since I've known her. And not only just in the community, but people who understand what it means to understand realness. They can feel the realness that she shares
yes.
as she goes throughout the community, making sure that people are aware of what's available to them financially.
Right.
And who am I speaking about?
Well, you're speaking of downtown Lisa.
You can't outlive that. You can't outlive that.
This is why I make sure that I say that, right? Because again, we among friends,
That was
right?
the itinerary.
These ain't people who we don't know. These are not, and I think that is important as we bring Lisa in. First of all, hey Lisa. I think it's important because you kind of built that photo of her being community, and with her position being, as we have known her, within the space of credit unions. Credit unions have that flavor of community. Particularly, she has served municipal governments, organizations, and entities, people who are engaged and who have worked in roles on different levels of community. And those folks are the most in need of a financial partnership with a institution that gets them.
Right.
Where they can place their money in trust, where they can believe that the institution works for and by them. And so I really appreciate that you keep that. Well, you're like the photo child for credit unions, right? You look up credit unions in the dictionary, Lisa pop up, right? Talk a little bit about,
This is the wildest conversation I've had in a long time.
Throw away all your prepared
This
answers.
is so wild. I hope I can get a recording of this. You know, on a day maybe I'm not feeling so good. I feel like I'm having a bad hair day. I'm gonna pull this back up and listen to it.
Doc D got you, SoundCloud, in effect. No, but seriously though, talk a little bit about it, because you do bring a very stringent community-centric approach to the way that you lead this credit union and the way that you have led the community in financial awareness in the past. I don't want to put no years to it, but talk about the why. Why is that your approach?
Well, first of all, I mean, your words are so kind. I mean, I'm very flattered, and you know, sometimes we just walk in our day and we don't really realize maybe how we're perceived or how we're, you know, when we interact with folks or whatever. So it really means a lot to feel that authenticity. And I think where it comes from is you know, a lot of people, they look at the CEO and they think, oh wow, you know, she grew up with that silver spoon, or she, you know, life must be real easy or whatever. But I think, you know, where we connect with each other is in that real place of, you know, look, we've believe it or not, we've all had struggles, and for me to lose sight of that, regardless of my status, would be a complete disservice. And so, you know, I feel like staying true and allowing my heart to see your heart and connect with each other in that way. I hope that pulls through, not only in personal interactions, but in the culture of, you know, of our credit union, of Tallahassee Leon Credit Union.
That's right. Well, you have, and Pastor James can attest to this, you have put people around you perennially that follows your same method and approach. And we have here two fabulous folks who, you know, again, when the word community comes up, maybe not credit union, but community comes up, these faces pop up. And it's interesting to see, and we're gonna get to that story in a second, to see our brother in community, just community, Terrence Barber now working on your team,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
As your community development.
I couldn't be more proud.
And so talk
Dream
about
team.
Yeah. Look, it's like that. We dream in here, but seriously, you're following the spirit of your leader.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to echo Lisa's sentiments, Christique. I would just want to thank you for all these kind words. You know, we need to have a meeting after the meeting about whatever initiative you have coming up. We'll certainly have that conversation. But I'm so proud that Lisa thought it not robbery to add me to this, because I mean, right now we're on the brink of something amazing within our organization, and to be a steward of allowances that we are afforded to certain community entities and organizations and individuals, and being able to go into communities across the Panhandle now, not just in Tallahassee and Leon County, but to be able to service communities that I've never stepped foot in, but understand the things that they are dealing with and understand how important it is to have access. And I think that one of the things that Lisa said before I even took this position was, she was like, we're not talking about financial literacy because people are not illiterate.
That's
But
right.
we're trying to
Preach.
give people access to education. And I think that my people, when I say my people, I'm talking about people that look just like me a lot of times. We perish due to a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And I think that to be a steward of an organization that sees those discrepancies, and a lot of times in the actual regular working class people. I know I ain't saying that just because it's working class women, but to represent an organization that sees that and understands that and has a heart for that and a passion for that, and that not only sees it but actually puts dollar amounts a lot of times right when we see the need. And I think that it just all makes sense. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. So Terrence, when you say access, and we talk about access to financial education, let's go even one step forward. One step forward from that, like I'm happy to sit with you or hold classes or do whatever we can to elevate you. But where the rubber hits the road is when I'm willing to go to bat for you and get you that loan and say, now that you've done your education piece and you put your best foot forward and your true heart and your spirit of saying, I'm gonna be loyal to you and you're gonna be loyal to me, and we're in this together. Moving forward, how it's giving you access to those financial services. It's giving you access to financial services in a way that you are treated with dignity and respect, no matter if you've got $5 or $500,000. It doesn't matter to me.
Amen.
Wow.
That'll preach if you let it.
Well, I think you absolutely. Hold on.
I heard a hymn in
A charge to keep I have.
Feeling the spirit.
I heard that
And
in
God to glorify.
I think in this hour that we're in, in this time and in this space that we're in, after coming out of a pandemic, it's just amazing to hear someone who's in a very high leadership role to be able to say that, hey, we want to make sure that we first get you ready for access, and then we want to let you know access is available. And now it's up to you to maintain what we prepared you for. I think that is so rewarding. I really want to go back to you, Terrence, because I think this is key. And as you were talking, I want to say that when we serve, we never know what our serving is going to lead to.
Absolutely.
But all we want to do is serve.
Right.
And you started serving with trying to give information to entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs just like yourself, bringing them together, hosting events, out in the community working, not knowing that one day you would have a space on a platform that can really, really, really bring people to an awareness of what access to resources really look like. So I think that as we sit here today and as we look forward to later on this afternoon, people coming out to the Edison to meet and greet people and to see what has blossomed out of it, I think this is no happenstance. And I think this is just so divine, because in the middle of Miss Lisa and Mr. Terrence is another amazing.
And this is what I want to say about this. That's where full circle come in, y'all. Internet people, y'all listen to this real clip. there's a fine line and a thin line between being a financial services institution and being a financial partner institution.
Mhm.
And I think in our market, we have a lot of varieties of places we can go to get money. And Melanie Quinton has been in that commercial place for a very long time. And she brings to the conversation here that purview to inform how to do it on a more broader, accessible base, utilizing the platform of the credit union. Because, we love banks, we love all different types of lending, but a credit union is a different atmosphere for people in search of capital. And you bring that knowledge and you bring that capability to the table. Talk about your role with the credit union now and where you feel you're being led in your position currently.
You got it. So I will say I'm around 4 of my favorite humans in the world.
Y'all laying it on thick.
It's just too fun.
That's the love fest.
Yes, ma'am.
It's too fun. So yeah, I wanted to be a banker when I was 6, and I've been in a bank 6. Yeah. Well, so my dad passed away when I was 6, and my mom and I walk into a bank and we meet Banker Bob, who 2 years later became Daddy Bob.
Oh, wow.
And Daddy Bob changed my life, and I've followed in his footsteps until honestly about 3 weeks ago. I was in a bank until about 3 weeks ago. So I think over the past 7 years, and I've loved all the banks I've ever worked for, but it's kind of shocking to me I've never worked for a credit union, because that's where my heart follows. That's where my ideals rest. And so, yeah, I'm extremely thankful for the opportunity that Lisa's given me. And now we have this amazing dream team that we have in place because, we're a nonprofit or a not-for-profit financial institution. And so, again, we get to serve in the beautiful ways of finance, which has been a passion of mine for, since I was 6. So,
let me say this, because I think this is so important when we realize that we're serving people and there's a heart for the people that we serve. I think it does not appear that we're doing a job.
That's right.
It feels that we're doing a mission, a mandate, a ministry
Right.
that really meets needs of people. So let's speak for a minute, Lisa. You were here in Tallahassee at Tallahassee Leon Federal Credit Union CEO, 2 credit unions. I want to say 1 church and 2 locations. so you were like,
That's what it was.
you were like a mega pastor, but now you're a mega
You preach all over now.
That is going to be a term I use.
But let's talk about what has happened now, because now the branches and the credit unions have expanded. Now you've in
No.
What county you in?
All of them.
No, that's true. So I, the credit union was, faced with, an opportunity came along, and it made so much sense to really elevate all of the beautiful things that we were doing at Tallahassee Leon. I really, as the CEO, I felt like, we had, for lack of a better term, it was almost like we reached that glass ceiling, where we're like, man, I can see it, we're right there, but we just couldn't break through. And this allowed us the opportunity to really break through, not only from, having the resources from a capital position so that, the institution itself is super strong. We're a 5-star Bauer rated institution. So as we've grown in strength as well. But we also have expanded to not only so we've grown from Tallahassee, Leon. So we were originally Leon, Gadsden, Jefferson, and Wakulla counties. And now we actually take that reach and have expanded all the way over basically to the edge of Florida, along the Alabama line. So covering Panama City, covering Pensacola. So we've got branches all over. Now, we've always had access to multiple branches across the country. We've got 5,400 locations that you could go to and visit, and that's fine. But our own home, branches now, footprint with our own employees. and inspiring those folks across the Panhandle. We've grown and we've expanded, and that's where we're going to take Working Class Wednesday next, and that's where we're going to take really the spirit of everything that we've done here. And now it's like it's all the things we wanted to do. Offering those small business accounts. It was wonderful. I'd sit there and help small businesses that would come to me and say, hey, we need to learn more about how to manage our finances and how to do this. So all I could give them really at the time was like that education piece, and just kind of be their partner, because we really couldn't offer real sophisticated business accounts. Well, now we can.
Right.
And now we're just really taking it to that next level, to be able to, again, provide education and access. Because I tell this to folks all the time, here's the deal. If I am a single mother of 2 kids, and I am struggling, I'm working 2 jobs and I'm trying to make ends meet, and I got $20 left in my wallet, honey, you don't need to teach me how to budget. I know how to budget. That is insulting, quite frankly. Don't come at me with that. That is hurtful.
Right.
What I need is access. What I need is the ability to be able to manage my finances in a way that that is easy for me, that I don't have to get caught in payday loan traps, that I don't have to get stuck in a situation where I'm spending more than I have. Just make it easy for me. Just take a little bit of this burden off my shoulders. That's what I need. And so we routinely help folks that get themselves into payday loan traps. And when I tell you, and then this is one of the things that I'm most proud of, one of the programs that I developed way back was a component where if I'm getting you out of that payday loan trap, not only am I getting you out of it, but I'm literally step by step helping you to save, and I'm making it easy for you. So by the time you turn around, you look around and go, wow, I'm not only am I not in that payday loan trap and have that awful thing on my shoulders that hurts, but because it physically hurts.
Yes.
I've been there. It physically hurts. But now you turn around and you've got a savings account, and that next emergency that you have, you've got this. It's easy to say, and you know what? Then we walk around with a little bit more dignity, and we're proud of ourselves, and then we share it with our friends, and that's how this works. And so it's one of the things that I will be eternally grateful to have had the opportunity to share that, and to share that level of access with human to human. That we don't have to walk around like that.
It's called equity in practice.
I
mean, that's what it's called. And I mean, the thing is that it's always experimented in place, which is why an opportunity like Working Class Wednesday is so important, because it takes place in place, right? You're not all over somewhere doing something. You're able to gauge and guide impact based upon a given locality, right? And I think that as you were talking about that person that's trying to seek attainment, because that's the goal, right? Equity in its truest form manifests into attainment. And so when we take that from the personal, where I can now buy my car and pay it off. I can buy my home and pay it off. I can now send my child to college.
Right.
Now I'm building an enterprise. And I don't want my enterprise to be on survival. I want my enterprise to be profitable. But I can't find the capital I need to invest in my business expenses so that the business is run on capital that can produce profit. Now I've got to go back to my regression and my money, which may not be enough to fund this business. Can you talk about that? Because this is where it takes it from the personal administrative person working a job to somebody developing a micro enterprise as a side hustle that becomes possibly their primary job because they have access to intentional capital.
Right. And I think that the access to the resources is not as important as the access to the people that provide the resources. And like you said, whenever you can see someone like I see Pastor James in places, we may be in Bridgetown, he may be down in Minnesota trying to help someone's family with something, but guess what? He can then turn around and call the state attorney. He can reach out to those people and grant them access. Here at this organization, if you were to see me and I didn't know the answer, guess what? I can pick up the phone and call my CEO.
That's right.
And if she don't know, I can call my VP of marketing who has this wealth of knowledge in banking and be able to grant you access. Not only that, I can create an organization that will bring these people to you.
Mhm.
So 6 o'clock this evening, they'll all be there. You'll have access.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? I think that when we're talking about cultivating sustainable
Mhm.
businesses and the education piece involved in that, I don't claim to know everything. But what I do claim to know is how to bring people together that have the answers that can put them all under one umbrella where you won't get wet.
Mhm.
So I think that in that, great leaders attract great leaders. And I think that the team that has been devised right now by one great leader has now become 3 great leaders in their own aspects, now creating something beautiful that people can actually reach
Mhm.
and attain. And like you said, the attainment, people want to have, everybody wants nice things. Everyone right now, we're in this, and I don't want to call it a trend, but everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. But we need to know what that means.
That's
We
right.
need to understand, like, if you're not sustainable, then you're not an entrepreneur. And I think that if we educate folks, that's one thing, but giving them, granting them access to the money. And guess what? If we give you the money, you don't know what to do with it. What good have we done?
Mhm.
So I
That's
think
right.
that being able to reach back and give people the knowledge that maybe I didn't know at one point. You know, Pastor James started calling me the bishop of business a long time.
Absolutely.
The bishop of
Never met the
business. But to now being able to, if the closer I get to the source, the quicker I can help you.
Mhm.
And I just thank God for leading me and helping, allowing to guide my steps to get me as I can't get too much closer to the source than we are now. So.
Right.
You know, I want to say this, and Doc West says, "Speak well, my brother."
Shout out to Doc West and the Tallahassee trainer.
Uh-huh.
We'll see y'all this evening.
Yeah, but I want to say this, Melanie, to you, and your heart has been in banking, but your heart has also been in the community. You
Right.
know, you've been engaged in doing so much. How does it feel now to be a part of a team that's diving into the community head on to lead and to empower people?
It's awesome. I mean, it really is. It's a beautiful thing. And you know, I heard a long time ago that, you know, banks use people to make money and credit unions use money to help people.
Wow.
And
Oh,
that's-
wow, that's
Say that
cool.
again.
Wait, now you gotta say that again.
Right.
Run that
And
back.
again, nothing against our banker friends. We
Right,
love them.
right,
But banks use banks use people to make money, and credit unions use money to help people. And so, I mean, that right there is just, I've always had a heart for service. I mean, I try to enter it into our family and have our kids see the importance of it. But, you know, especially in Tallahassee, it's a super lovely community place with a lot of work and a lot of big hearts that want to do the work. And so taking that financial aspect and then combining it in a credit union is just a beautiful, amazing feeling. And again, especially the people that I get to work with every day. Because they feel the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's beyond comforting, and yeah, super blessed right here.
So I guess it goes to Pastor thinking about, you know, the great tie into this observance of a honoring of working class professionals. I put that in there, Terrence, you heard me.
Working class.
Okay, working class, because I think that's where we are. You know, in terms of proportion, the middle class is shrinking. So you either have people that are on the high or on the low, right? And then the cost of living is increasing, right? So the burden of expense, you know, triggers the need for more income, right? Or to find other venues for additional income, which is why entrepreneurship is so sexy, right?
Absolutely.
Where you get to own your job for the most part, right? But I think as a credit union and as a partner for homes, as a partner for people, talk about the role of the community development financial institution, right? That thing that the Treasury does in terms of making allocation available for credit unions and entities that work and use money to serve people. Talk about that and why it is so important to zero in on that very specific demographic of working class folk who are experiencing what they're experiencing in our current economy.
Yeah, so a CDFI is a designated financial institution that says that more than 50% of our members make less than 50% of the average median household income.
Say that
So
again,
it
because
is
I don't think
it's
people
a
know that.
definition.
Okay, thank you.
It's an official
Okay.
definition. So in a nutshell, what it means is I actually have to prove to the federal government that we serve low income families. We serve those you know, those folks that are working paycheck to paycheck. And so that is our primary focus. Again, I said earlier, I serve somebody with $5. I serve somebody with $500,000. In my mind, just as a U.S. citizen, you should be treated with dignity and respect and treated, you know, equally. When you come in my shop, the same thing applies no matter how much money you have. We are democratically run. We have volunteer board of directors. We have, I mean, we really kind of have the infrastructure of like a 501c3. And any money that we make, we turn around and we give back to I don't pay stockholders. That's the difference. And when, you know, when Melanie was saying, so, and because I think that there's a misunderstanding about, you know, people think to themselves like a credit union and a bank are really like the same thing because when you walk in the door, you kind of get the same service maybe. And so it's like the difference between McDonald's and Wendy's. Well, it's really not. Fundamentally and structurally, we are two very different structures. It's no different than having as an entrepreneur, you know, being a sole proprietor or a partnership or the different types of structures. That's really what we're talking about. So everybody kind of knows the difference. So CDFI, that is one piece. And it's a lovely way of being recognized by the federal government that we're doing the work.
Right.
That's really in my mind because you know, and it's very, very helpful. You know, maybe if your credit union is struggling when you're really trying, you know, maybe we go through a recession or the credit union kind of struggles a little bit, just like the members do. You know, so we get a little bit of some supplemental cash there to kind of help us to make sure we continue with our mission. So, but the only reason we get that is because of the fact that you know, that we are doing that work and we can demonstrate the work that we're doing and the impact that we're making. And so, you know, I want to make sure that we're very clear on the difference between that and CRA money that banks have to, you know, use and give out. They're required to give out money because they were doing bad things like redlining, and they were doing bad things that they shouldn't have been doing. And the government said, no, stop it. I'm gonna smack your hand and I'm gonna make you do what you're supposed to do. And that is give back to your community, quit misbehaving and go behave. And so, you know, it's very, very fundamental. And I wanted everybody to really realize the difference between the bank being forced to pay CRA money and just the fact that credit unions are, I mean, I can tell you, I mean, the money that we're giving back into the community is in the probably just this year alone is well over $500,000.
Wow.
Well over, probably more if I did the math. I'm just going off the top of my head. But we just recently donated to the Tallahassee Community College for scholarship programs. We donated $150,000 for scholarships at TCC.
This is crazy.
Yes, correct.
You know, why
Pensacola State College, same thing. So
Right.
I mean, we're doing it across the Panhandle.
You know, the thing that I, as I listened to you, I automatically saw money with a mission.
Yes.
Right.
And I think, Terrence, you said something that is key. And there are people who are listening to this broadcast now who are saying great information, very excited to hear about this, who probably have reservations when it comes to a credit union. Because why? They don't know a whole lot about them. So the bank has become the only thing that is a magnet that draws them.
Right.
And when you look at what you just said now, when you can help people to understand, I want to help you, but these are the steps that we've got to go to. And I never said this publicly, and I will today. And I'm not saying this because you are here, but because you're here, it's the right time to say it. I can recall so many times that I've come to you with people who are part of that population that need service.
Right.
And you said, well, Pastor, I don't mind helping, but listen, let's get them in this program. Let's get them doing this. Let's get them doing this. And then let's see how we get them out of that situation that they're in financially. And to this day, it has changed so many people's lives, and it has made them feel now
Mm.
that I can achieve something.
That's
Why? Because people don't care how much you know, until they know how much you care. I came to you with someone who was about to lose their car.
Mm.
It was just a matter of the people finding it.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm. It is, and I mean, at the end of the day, what you're saying is you come up. We come up on a lot of people,
Absolutely.
and they represent a lot of needs.
Mhm.
And the credit union has been kind of restricted in the sense of who can become a credit union, right?
Right.
And so there's that. There's the historic
Correct.
restrictions, which I'm assuming aren't any longer.
They do not apply anymore. That's right.
I think
you
that's
live,
important.
work, or worship in this community, you can have an account with Tallahassee Leon.
Say that again.
If you live, work, or worship in this community, literally that is in our bylaws. If you worship in this community, so if you can hear my voice, you can open up an account at Tallahassee Leon.
All right, let me say that to the 15,000. To the 15,000.
You got a referral program going on too, Pastor.
Do tell.
So here it is. And I think we're laughing, we're having fun, and I think that's key.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about a entity that is serving our people, and it's the joy that we're expressing because of how they do it.
Absolutely.
So for the 15,000 of you who are listening, listen to me. I want you to hear me. I want you to take down the address, the number, and I want you to say, listen, I heard it live right here. And I'll go in the next 30 days is to create 500 new members.
Oh my goodness.
Mm.
Is that a lot?
That's wonderful.
Write that down.
We'll be back on the show next week.
I mean, what Greg said.
Yeah. Our goal is to create 500 new members at the credit union. Terrence, you want to tell us how they can? Who has that information?
You're going to go to www.tlfcu.org. So Tallahassee Leon Federal Credit Union was our. We've now dropped the federal out of our name. It has nothing to do with anything.
Right.
It's a charter system, state, federal. It's all the same.
Okay.
One thing you brought up a minute ago, I want to make sure that we hit on, because for those of you that do have the $500,000. There is, another concern right now when we're hearing about bank failures across the country.
Right.
So let's talk about that. Actually, Tallahassee Leon has a program that is actually, we are insured even more than a bank is. If you came in, so normally, first of all, let's talk about the difference between FDIC and NCUA.
Mhm.
They're the same darn thing. They're the federal government.
Okay.
We're the federal government. We're here to help.
Mhm.
But in addition to that, NCUA, which is NCUA and FDIC, go up to $250,000. We actually go up to $500,000 for each individual.
Mm.
So if Melanie and her husband come in and they open up an account with us together, they actually would be insured up to $1 million because $500,000
Oh,
for
good.
each
Okay, perfect.
individual.
Okay.
Right. So I wanted to be, just kind of bring that up. That it is, I think it's an important piece for those that are in that situation, because we do serve all kinds.
Mhm.
So to follow back up on contact information. So we are www.tlfcu.org, Tallahassee Leon Credit Union, and the telephone number is 850-576-8134.
Yes.
And we've got quite a few delightful call center reps that would love to help you out.
More to come.
Someone just asked, what's the minimum amount that you can open an account with?
$5. What did I say? When I
Right?
say $5 or $500,000, you will be treated the same with me.
Mm.
And guess what? You'll become a member. As a member, you get a right to vote so you vote on our board of directors that are volunteers. We are democratically run. You are treated, every single individual gets one vote, just we're a democracy.
So you weren't really off with the mega church, but I will say that I will say this. I think it's important.
Should I have asked for more?
I think we should pass the plate, but I think it's important as we thinking about this, and as we're going into this evening's event, which we know is everybody. I'm missing church to go. Right?
Me too,
Like,
sister.
Okay, I'm missing church to go. So, I'm gonna put my Baptist finger up while I'm talking, but I think it's important to understand that in these days, economic security has been elevated to a level, right? Unprecedented. Economic security is so important because obviously we went through 2007 with the Great Recession. Obviously, we've had micro recessions since then. And what recessions mean is that certain people are hurt or harmed economically by this climate, right? And I think that is something we need to understand and we need to make understood, right? Economic security is something that can only be mitigated by a proactive partnership with you, God, and your financial institution. All right.
Right, absolutely.
I'm gonna put that on a sign. And
I'm just saying, right?
Absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
it's your vulnerability.
Right.
You deal with people that have
Absolutely.
heightened economic
Right.
vulnerability. Let's talk about that because as people are gonna be on their yard tonight, we're gonna be
Right.
celebrating, gonna be fun, but there's a message there.
And think about it, Christine. Think about the trauma attached to the lack of finances and the lack of financial education. Think about what a single mother goes through. Like when Pastor James said she's about to lose her car, knowing that she still has to get her kids to school
Yeah.
And to get to work.
Yeah.
or the doctor.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, think about the things that go through certain people in certain communities, and it's not just people in poor neighborhoods. These are people in Golden Eagle who sometimes need
Hello.
a hand up. You know what I mean? We right now we're seeing people who had millions and millions of dollars losing it all, like you said, in this climate. So in order to be a part of an institution, to be able to go out in the community and educate and prove that, guess what, there are institutions that have access to resources that, guess what, we want you to have resources too. We want to make sure that some of the things, the atrocities that you've been suffering through, that you know that you have people that will come, not only wait for you to come to us at our various branches, but we will bring this wealth of knowledge to you in the community. And I think that's what's so important about what we do here.
And I'll say, so for the past, I guess we've been in Tallahassee for about 16 years, but especially in the past, let's say 5, someone might come to me in the bank and have top tier credit. Well, my rate might be much higher. So that's where a credit union would come into play. Or if that single mama too had never established credit, who can help her? The credit union. So, my leadership supported it, but I definitely referred a lot to the credit union just because at the end of the day, it's most important about getting that human in front of me. That helps they need.
Absolutely.
I think Pastor James, as I'm sitting here, I can't talk because I'm so my RAM is running slow. Right? It goes into our conversation we had a couple of weeks ago, right? That talks about the convener of these conversations because I think we do hurricane preparedness, we do tornado preparedness, we do all kind of climate preparedness, but we do not do financial event preparedness. And I think that we are in a generation now where it's assumed that that knowledge is handed down from generation to generation, and it just ain't, right? And you have more people who make money, on paper, but they are literally in economic survival, right? And I am here just trying to get the commitments to people from people who's committed to convening the emergency economic preparedness conversations, right? And I mean, like really from the rooter to the tutor, there's a system in place. As you know, when things go crazy, federal government activates funds that flow into different things,
They're
right?
ready for it.
But who knows that, right? Who understands what FEMA's operation is in the event of an economic disaster? And I think that the credit union and our community-based financial institutions are the most astute and the most capable of helping convene the community around this conversation.
100%. And with that, I think let's take it one step forward because I think you really hit on something there. And that is, and it's really funny. I remember when my kids were growing up, nobody wanted to talk about, what happens in in the bedroom, that's well, because it's taboo. We don't talk about it. You know, we also don't talk about, like, or if you're arguing and you're trying to teach your kids about conflict, well, what happens? You're arguing in the living room, and then you make up out of the ear side of the kids. So what'd you just teach them? You taught them how to fight. You didn't teach them how to resolve.
Okay.
I'm at you right now. You're preaching good.
You didn't teach them. Listen, you didn't teach them how to resolve
You
conflict.
didn't.
Okay. Guess what else we do? We didn't talk about money at the dinner table because that is a taboo topic. We do not talk about that in front of those kids. That is a grown-up thing to talk about. Let me tell you something. You know what ends up happening? Those kids grow up and the only thing that they know is whether or not you gave them the PlayStation. And the only thing that they learn is they said, please, 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 And then all of a sudden they got it. And so what do they do as adults? Please, 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 can I make some money?
Yes, sir.
Listen, stop. No, you got to do your part, and you need to be educated, and you need to understand. You need to understand what my mentality was when I was trying to figure out what to do with that last $20
That's right.
in my wallet. So have that conversation with your kids, clear the path, and don't be afraid. Let them watch you and how you decision make with your money. So I would say let's start with that.
That's right.
Then let's follow up and start having these conversations as adults and with our children and with our teenagers and as a community.
And as a community, because what do you do when the banks fail?
Right.
What do you do when your $1 million ain't insured but $250,000?
Well,
What
you
do
probably
you do?
should have put it in multiple instances.
Which is where you're
Like, these are things that we do.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So don't ever put more than the 250 in a bank, or in our case, the 500,000. Don't ever
Right.
put any more than that in any individual institution. You always want to make sure you know how much you're insured for. So that is certainly something to be mindful of. But it's also, you talked about coming up with a crisis plan for, do I have, what am I going to do if a hurricane's going to hit? I got my bucket, I've got my things, I got my flashlight, well, what do you have if you have a financial crisis?
Come on now.
Do you have a savings account? I mean, let's just start with just basics. But also, do you have access to maybe a line of credit?
Yeah.
Do you have access to, do you have a plan? So no different than I have a plan to know, if it's a category 1 hurricane or a category 2 or a category 3, I know what things I'm supposed to do each step along the way.
Yeah.
But do I know which things I'm supposed to deploy in my financial toolkit?
That's right.
What things do I do first? And then what do I do after that? And then what do I do after that? And then how do I turn that back around after I had to take those steps?
Come on now.
I love this. I hope this makes sense.
It
But
makes perfect
so
sense.
everyone should have financial crisis planning outside of your normal daily. What's my normal daily budget? What's my normal daily financial activities? I need to have a crisis management plan, and I need to have that long-term plan. I mean, I cannot tell you how many people I know that get their drop money and run out and say, I'm gonna go buy an $85,000 pickup truck because I deserve it, a new one. I deserve. Oh, you're giving me heart palpitations. Please, can I beg you to be thoughtful about how long you might need to get that to last? Because I don't want to see you at 78 years old having to work somewhere, making minimum wage, and have we all need to have a plan for when we retire, and we need to make sure we know what that looks like. So these are all conversations that we have on a daily basis. At the credit union, that we talk to people about. All of our employees, we have a handful of new ones now that are getting certified, but all of our employees are certified financial counselors. So whether you need it or not, we're able to give you that level of guidance and help, just sort of on the fly. Just like I am here, just kind of giving you ideas. Those are all things that you would that you would get on a normal basis.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah,
He's so excited.
It is. And I think those of you who are listening to the broadcast, especially those of you who are on our Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, I think that your comment says it all, that, you know, they're showing emojis of fire like it's hot. So for those of you who are listening, I think one of the most important things that I've heard today is something that we don't have. That's access.
That's right.
You know, I'm a firm believer, and you know, Melanie, she's well aware of this, that I want to know who's the president, I want to know who's the vice president, I want to know who's the branch manager. I want to meet them, I want to know them, I want them to know me.
Right.
And I want to know the CEO. Why? Because I want to make sure that the people I serve, I can go to somebody and say, hey, look at this person's financial situation and how can we help? And it's not for my benefit, it's for the benefit of people.
Absolutely.
And I want to challenge all of my pastor friends who are listening to the broadcast. Listen to what I'm about to say. And you can't put me on there because I pay for the show. But this is so important. This is so important that you find people who have a heart for people, who are handling your offerings week after week. I had a big conversation with a couple of pastor friends. They don't know who the teller is. They don't know. They just know, oh, we bank at so-and-so bank, and I ain't gonna call no name. But do you know the teller of the bank? Do you know the branch manager? Do you know the loan officer? Well, how can you help your people if you don't know the people
Yeah.
who are empowered?
Right.
As long as I've been knowing the CEO, I've never filled out an application for Great Tank. But I've took so many people in there whose lives have changed.
You should fill out 1, 2 pounds.
That's right.
No, I'm talking no. I'm talking about to get a loan.
Oh,
Or to
okay,
get,
okay.
yeah. I got an application. I'm a member. But as far as having a need, there's so many people
Right.
that are running to pay their loans only to find themselves stuck
Right.
even more.
Right.
Listen, this is great.
It's awesome.
We out of time, but we ain't out of money nor conversation.
Well, I think that if we could just get the rap sheet for this evening again, Pastor, to know where we need to be at this evening, what time.
Y'all gotta be there. Tell them what they got.
6 o'clock p.m. man, Working Class Wednesday kicks off, man. All brought to you by Tallahassee Leon Credit Union Division of Central Credit. We'll be at the Edison Restaurant from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. We have a plethora of local vendors come out and support local small business. Come out and get this. We have 3 dynamic speakers. Mr. Sean Pittman is going to be talking on behalf of the Pittman Law Group. We have Mr. Alan Einstein from the Challenger Learning Center, and also we have Lisa Brown will be there on behalf of Central Credit. So make sure you come out, man. Come out and support the small business, and also come out and support yourself. Like I said, my people perish to a lack of knowledge. The knowledge will be there. We're gonna take you to the water. We ain't gonna make you drink.
Okay, well listen, you heard it right here. I want to say that we're getting ready to kick off this mission of 500 new accounts today at Working Class Wednesday. You can be part of the first 100. Yeah, we're gonna have a table. Listen to what I just said. We're gonna have a table set up.
We'll make it happen.
Okay, we're gonna have a table. We're gonna give people information
Yes,
to
sir.
open up accounts.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna
Yes,
do
sir.
that tonight.
Absolutely.
Okay. So with that being said, we're gonna take the whole month of May. May is gonna be our money making month, and we're gonna generate 500 accounts.
I love it.
And I mean, because I think people need this kind of access, and then they need people who really love people that they can actually talk to.
Charles, can I interject
Yes,
this
sir.
real quick? So now, I liken this. Because you know, you go into a restaurant, and if you have a large party, you push tables together, and everyone can see. So I brought a table. I wasn't looking for a chair. I brought a table. Melanie, she brought a table. She brought a wealth of knowledge in this entire book of business. Lisa had a big table. So I pushed my at the mega. So I pushed my table against her table. Now guess what? Guess what? Now everybody, we all can sit
That's
at
right.
the same table. Come
Mhm.
sit at
We
the
want
table.
you to.
Yeah.
Bring your
Come
table.
Come
Yeah.
sit. Come sit. Yeah, if you ain't got a table, bring a chair. If you
Listen,
ain't got a chair, just be there.
Be there.
I think that's important. I think that's an important end to close on. So we do have tonight, y'all, at Edison. Come on through. I know you got church, but come on through. We want to definitely make sure you tune in through the month of May. Through the month of May, we really are going to continue this financial conversation because it's that time, and we need to prepare our community to be able to function financially. We are on every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on Heaven, 95.3 FM.
No,
I mean,
no.
Heaven on.
And look, she,
This is the second time. I think they're gonna pull my plug in a minute.
it's okay, because she want to go to heaven. She want to be in heaven. It's hell on earth.
At
So
least
she's
I
thinking
said
about heaven.
She's about to be over there.
At least I said Wednesday this time. Okay, I said
Let
Wednesday.
me see, can I get Doc on? If she said one more time, she gonna be over there.
I got two married. But anyway, we're gonna close out the show today. We're gonna see y'all tonight at the Edison.
Yes,
Special
ma'am.
thanks to my friend Lisa Brown, my friend Melanie, and our friend Terrence for coming on the show
Thank y'all
today.
Thank you all
We're
so
gonna have a
much.
great time this evening. We look forward to y'all tuning in at the next show. This is the Greg James
Right, great day.
Community Show.
Right.
All right.
All right, and listen, we'll see you tonight. And don't forget now, our mission. We're 500 strong, and it's gonna happen. All right, have an amazing day. We'll see you tonight at 6 at the Edison.
Absolutely.
Hey, listen,
Take
I
care.
pray that y'all have enjoyed this show, and this is what I need you all to do for me. I need you, somebody laughing. Okay, I
You
need.
talking about somebody laughing.
Hey, so listen, I need you all. We're getting ready to launch campaign. It's going to be called Campaign 500, and our goal is to just enroll 500 members into this amazing ministry at the Tallahassee Leon Credit Central Credit Union.
Yeah.
You gotta get a picture.
Okay, okay. All right. So listen. All right. Marcus said committed. Okay, Marcus, man,
All
committed.
right.
Hey, Marcus, listen, man. Tonight at the Edison, somebody else said committed. Okay.
Excited to meet you.
Yeah. Okay, listen, we're gonna be at the Edison tonight. So guess what? Come on over, meet some of the entrepreneurs, but most of all, meet this amazing team. Okay, people saying committed. Okay, well, come on over tonight, man. Listen, come on over tonight. We're gonna get you signed up and we're gonna keep it moving. All right.
Maybe they mean they're committed to opening a new account.
That's what they committed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they committed to.
Making sure.
Yeah.
So it's 497 now. 497.
Yeah,
Hey,
497.
all right.
Okay, so we're gonna keep you posted. Yeah, yeah.
I love it.
Oh, that's fun.
Okay, somebody said we'll be in touch. Okay, Lillian, bless you.
Awesome.
All right, well, listen, that's what it's all about. And you know, the Bible says people perish for lack of knowledge. So whenever there's knowledge being spread, there's power being released. So this is a season and a time where we want you to have knowledge and power. All right, I'll see you all tonight.
Okay, so